Elie Honig on CNN actually was honest, Dad. I mean, he said with all these latest moves by Jack Smith that it's obvious he is trying to get a case tried before the election, and that is political. Now, what you would add to that is the DOJ and these special counsels, the one thing they are not supposed to be doing is taking into account politics. Now, they can look at it and say, we're not supposed to be influencing politics, so we should wait, or because we took too long to bring this, so now we've got to wait until after the political season. But they certainly are not supposed to do it so it affects the political season. They are supposed to be apolitical.
This is a CNN commentator, and they're starting to understand how political these prosecutions are. And that is interfering with the election. That is election interference.
Okay, before we play it, do you think this is because they see what's happened to Hunter Biden, too?
I think
they're starting to get a little more fair in their coverage?
They're realizing that the Department of Justice shouldn't be doing any of this stuff.
It's too much
Whether
politics.
It's Hunter Biden, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's anybody else that's in the political realm like this close to an election, they shouldn't be involved in either of these
none
cases.
None of this stuff with Hunter Biden is new. It could have been done 4 years ago.
It could have been waited. It could have gone a year before. It could go a year from now if they could extend the statute of limitation.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems
so
like I think DOJ asserting itself. Yeah, the bureaucracy.
The DOJ's politicization is the problem here, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. It really is having an impact.
The FBI that they oversee. So you think about they're both they're the law enforcement and they are the investigators of the illegality. So they put together the report and they give it to the lawyers to say prosecute it.
Don't ever forget what James Comey did weeks before an election.
Oh yeah, I don't. I remember.
I've opened the investigation of Hillary Clinton like 3 weeks before. I closed it, and then like 4 days before the election, we had to reopen it again.
It was over nothing.
Over emails.
Something they did not have to even announce.
Correct. But this is when the FBI and Department of Justice gets politicized, it puts all of our constitutional right to vote in jeopardy. And that is actually what's happened here. But when you got Elie Honig from CNN admitting it, then you really got something. Take a listen. Longer bite. Take a listen.
First of all, if Jack Smith is trying to get this case tried before the election, and he clearly is, look, that is political. I mean, the counter argument would be, well, Jack Smith just wants the American voters to have resolution before they go to the ballot box. And I understand that. As a voter, I would like to know. But here's the problem with that argument, Michael. Jack Smith doesn't just want to get this trial done and let the chips fall where they may and let the consequences be what they can be. He's the prosecutor. He believes this case. He wants this case to result in conviction. And so his position isn't just, well, I want this case tried before the election. His position really, as a practical matter, is I want Donald Trump convicted before the election. I have no problem with the first part of that. It's his job to want and try to convict Donald Trump now that he's indicted. But the second part of that, before the election, that's where it crosses the line to the political, in my view.
This is coming from CNN, folks. I think what you said is right. People are starting to realize what's really at play here. So if you look at the 14th Amendment cases, it's the same kind of thing. Here you've got what Elie Honig's talking about is the political cases that are being brought by the Department of Justice. So you've got this both state and federal court proceedings going on right now, trying to remove a candidate from office, a candidate that was not charged with insurrection, a candidate that's leading in the polls, and at the same time, and I do think you were right, the reason they're saying all of this is all of a sudden Hunter Biden's in the news, and it's right before an election too, and if they're trying... If I'm Joe Biden, I'm thinking that the Democrats are using that to push Biden off the ballot.
Right. So you've got the internal politics of the Democrat Party at play there, and then you have externally this idea of can we ensure it's not Donald Trump? So can we make it where you can't even vote for him? That's the 14th Amendment. Can we tie him up in so many legal cases that all you're hearing about while people are going to vote in the early states? And even Super Tuesday in March, all you're going to be hearing about is Donald Trump's legal trials when you're casting your vote. So it makes you think twice. Is he going to have the time? Is he going to have the ability? Is he going to be too distracted? I mean, we know their playbook here, folks. And now you're starting to see liberal commentators agree because it's starting to affect their candidates. And we've said this, Dad, since Hillary Clinton. We've been preaching this message that the people like Jim Comey needed to go. And yet, when I take people back to when Jim Comey was finally let go by President Trump, the liberals went nuts.
Right.
They forgot that Hillary Clinton blamed Jim Comey for her election loss. I mean, she blamed him for the election loss. So that was probably the biggest damage in those final days of the election was the Jim Comey surprise. And listen, folks, I mean, Donald Trump did something about it, and then he took all of that incoming. That's when the incoming started. Remember the leaked memos through the law professors? I mean, I just think if we are preparing ourselves for another tough election where it's very divided, what we have to all realize is what Elie Honig said is this DOJ is out of control. It has to be reformed.
So I want you to understand the entire scope of what's going on here. Our elections, our right to vote, the way in which these things are going forward right now are being handled by a state district court judge, a state superior court judge, a U.S. district court judge, a Fulton County DA, a U.S. attorney that's now a special counsel, and also at the Supreme Court of the United States. All of this less than 4 weeks before the Iowa caucus.
It's that worst of the worst thoughts about that this DOJ has picked their winners and losers in each election. And this time they want to do as much damage like they did before to Donald Trump. They'd rather have a Joe Biden than a Donald Trump. If it's not necessarily, by the way, if they love Joe Biden. It's that they like to pick who they think they're going to get to operate most freely under. And they know whoever Donald Trump picks as AG is coming in to clear house. They know that Joe Biden's team is going in there to make nice, like a Merrick Garland.
Right.
So they'd rather operate under Merrick Garland, who basically has let them. I mean, it's like, doesn't he feel like he runs the Department of Justice?
No, I think that's
and
right.
When they do get in trouble, he kind of says, I didn't even know about it. I'm sorry. We didn't know. I didn't follow. And, you got, again, the FBI messes with the going after the Catholic churches. All of it, I think what we have to see, Dad, is that this is targeted at how can Democrats use the legal system to damage Republican candidates in the next election cycle, which is very
It's basically a form of lawfare.
Yeah.